What's up, YouTube? I'm Brett from Rants. As always, guys, if y'all enjoy our content, don't forget to like, subscribe, and leave a comment down below. Alright. So I'm pretty sure most of y'all seen Wonder Woman 1984, but didn't really get good ratings. A lot of people didn't like it. In fact, most people didn't like it. I would say even going so far as 80% did not like this movie. But apparently, CBR is not one of them. Wonder Woman 1984 moves past the need for violence. While full of action, the emotional core of Wonder Woman 1984 is how Diana saves the day with her words and compassion. What this article goes on to state is that this movie is so progressive, and this is the way that all superhero movies need to go from here. Forget that pesky violence. That's so 2020. Let's do something different in 2021. Let's have superhero movies where that no one dies and there's no big fight scenes and there's nothing interesting anywhere in the movie, because that's what fans want. That's a compassionate movie, and that's a movie that needs to be made. They go on to state in this article that, about Diana, when she's taking that guy out of his vehicle during the big fight scene in the middle of the movie, she throws him out on the ground, but it shows him safely falling. When she's grabbed those children up, and then instead of, the people that were supposedly trying to kill her during the fight scene swerve completely out of the way so that they don't run over her and kill her. It goes on to say all of these different things, even the ending. It praises the ending because it says that, she talks her way through to Maxwell Lord. She doesn't hit him, and she doesn't fight him, and she doesn't need violence to solve her answers. She needs words, because words will stop supervillains. And all it takes is words to make and compassion to make a great superhero film. Well, so according to this article, they want Patty Jenkins to direct, the new Batman film. Let's have a compassionate talk with, let's say the Joker, someone along those lines, or General Zod for Superman. Let's have that compassionate talk. Let's see how that goes. In fact, Superman did have a compassionate talk with General Zod, and at the end he had to snap his neck because, fortunately, General Zod wasn't really that compassionate of a human being. Most supervillains are not. That's usually why you need violence to, solve that problem. These are the articles that push bad writing. These are the articles that push bad directing. These are the articles that push bad movies. And I mean that fully. I hate that these articles even exist because they're so out of touch. They don't really. It's whoever wrote this article doesn't know anything about superhero movies. They don't really know anything about just any good movie out there. They might never even watch movies. They're the type of person that if they do, they enjoy Lifetime movies where everything's good and nice, or Hallmark movies, I should say, where everything. Lifetime movies, it's anti-man real bad. It does have some violence in it on some of it, but I mean Hallmark movies. Hallmark movies are, where everything is just seen through rose-colored glasses, and there's no need for any of this horrible hate that goes on. It should just be love and compassion. That is well and great for Hallmark. But it's not well and great for people that enjoy action movies. Action movies usually have to involve some form of death-defying stunts, have to involve some kind of destruction, have to involve maybe even some death to it. That's usually what makes a nice action movie. That's what kind of action movies that people have come to expect. Um, but I feel like this is kind of the steps that that movie directing is going to go, because you're going to have people pushing these kind of steps in these movies. This is why you're going to have a Patty Jenkins film that shows more dialogue than action. Is because you have people behind the scenes that are pushing her to do so. Not someone that, I don't know. This film was such utter garbage. And I mean that fully. The first time I saw it, I was okay with it. Second time, I hated it. Third time I watched it, I barely made it through it. And I watched it because I wanted to get a sense of, am I wrong? What would I feel like? Am I missing something? Is there something? I was trying to find just that tiny, tiny bit of excitement and joy from Wonder Woman 1984. And I was looking for it because I loved Wonder Woman, the original Wonder Woman. I like Gal Gadot. I like Pedro Pascal. I mean, I am a huge Pedro Pascal fan, a huge Gal Gadot fan. I think she does a wonderful Wonder Woman. I think Pedro Pascal did a great job with Maxwell Lord for the writing. I mean, I think he did the best he could because in his job, it was just the writing was poor, the character was poor. It just was a movie that was so anticlimactic, that was looking for these tear-jerking moments that really just weren't there. Sorry guys, they just were not there in this movie. Overall, I'm just so sick of people still trying to justify Wonder Woman 1984. And it's not they're trying to justify Wonder Woman 1984 because they believe it was a good film. This person that wrote this article probably has never even seen Wonder Woman 1984. She's just reading off a synopsis of it. You can tell just by the way the articles wrote that she's not a fan, or he's not a fan. Whoever it is not a fan. Only thing that they want to do is praise Patty Jenkins. They cannot let Patty Jenkins fail. And they cannot let Patty Jenkins fail, not because she's a good director or because she's a great screenwriter, but because she's a woman. They will not let her fail because of that one thing makes her above everything else. It doesn't matter how many terrible movies she makes. It just matters that she's a woman directing those terrible movies. And then once those terrible movies are out, guess what? They have to protect them. Now, we see this a lot with politicians. Where you have news media constantly protecting them. And so you never really get to the truth of these politicians because they won't really show the truth. Well, Wonder Woman 1984 didn't really want to tell you about all those bad reviews. It didn't want, in the news media around it, did not want to tell you about all that. They had no choice in a lot of different ways because the fan reaction of it was so bad. And there is still a thing called YouTube for right now that will allow you to go up here and speak your mind over these movies. So, the movie industry and those that are trying to protect a woman first agenda are, they're having to go into this mode, this attack mode, or this mode to prevent people from taking Wonder Woman 1984 to heart. That maybe Patty Jenkins shouldn't be the director moving forward for the upcoming Wonder Woman series, and maybe she shouldn't direct Rogue Squadron and all of these different things. because they have so many articles that are already written about how she's going to bring a woman taste to Star Wars and blah, 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 all this other kind of woman first junk. I just want to be as clear as day on this. I don't really care what your gender is writing these films. I just don't like the media. I don't like the directors and all of this to be telling us how great something is when just because of the gender of the director. I don't want that to be the silver lining. Well, Wonder Woman 1984 sucked, but hey, a woman got to direct it, and how great is that? I mean, be excited about that, guys. Be excited about it, because that's the only thing that matters anymore. It doesn't matter about making good movies. It just matters that the right agenda is being pushed. Who cares about agenda? Who cares about agenda? I don't frankly care about agenda. I don't care if you're on the left. I don't care if you're on the right. I don't care if you're woman or man or straight or gay. Any of those other little things. When you're directing a movie, I expect good writing, a good fun story, which Wonder Woman 1984 didn't have. I will never be one of those shills that gets up on here and talks about how this movie was great because it was directed by someone whose viewpoints I agree with, or whose gender I agree with, which is so utterly stupid. Who gives a crap how who gives a crap about that stuff? I mean, it's so, to me, I'm so passe all of this stuff. And it just like it gets worse and worse to the point where it just infiltrates our media. Everything that we watch is all about that. The whole bad things about the sequel trilogy was because they were trying to be as progressive as possible with it, and totally forgot to write a good story. they just thought, well, there's people of color on here. There's a woman that's leading it. That's all that people want. That's not all people want. Moviegoers want to be entertained. They don't want to waste $30-$40 going to the movies, if the movies ever open up, to go see craps like Wonder Woman 1984 or the sequel trilogy. They don't want to see that. There's no one that left that movie that was any of those movies. It's like, those movies suck, but you know what? I'm going to go back and I'm going to support it because it's got people of color and it's got women in it. And so I'm going to go back and support that movie. That's not your average fan. Your average fan doesn't think in those lines. Your average fan only cares about leaving there and being happy with the movie that they saw on screen. They don't even pay attention to the regular actors on it. Only thing that they care about is having a good time. Hollywood, you're totally forgetting it. You're dropping the ball on this. You're getting caught in politics, and you're not realizing that fans don't care about that stuff. You might get a pat on the back for putting in your movies in Hollywood, but you're not going to get these big box office hits. Wonder Woman 1984 would not have been a box office hit even if every theater was open. People might have originally gone and saw it, but they weren't going back to see it again. I guarantee you, I'm probably one of the only people in America that's watched it 3 times. You think I would have gone to the theater to see it 3 times? No. I would have probably left halfway out through this movie the first time. That's how bad this movie was to me. But overall, guys, that's all I got. I just get pissed that somebody like Patty Jenkins is already signed up for 2 more Wonder Woman movies, even though Wonder Woman 1984 is a complete flop. Like, that makes no sense to me. That literally makes no sense to me. If that would have been the choice before, if they would have already said that, I don't know, a year ago or 5 months before the movie aired, I wouldn't have had a problem with it. I have a problem with it after they knew it was a flop, and they knew the writing was poor, and they knew that the movie was way too long and that she didn't know how to cut scenes. She was a terrible editor. That they knew all of this, and yet those studios went ahead with Patty Jenkins as the lead. Because at the end of the day, it matters more to them to get articles like this about how Wonder Woman 1984 is the great. Wonder Woman 1984 is how superhero movies should go, because it's compassionate, but it's not compelling. That's the difference. But they care more about articles like this, these studio execs, than they do about even your money, and definitely of your fans. Like, they don't care about fans. They're not looking to please you, the fans. They're looking to please those that's at their Hollywood parties. They're looking, and they know that there will be people in the media that will push that agenda simply because that's their agenda. That's the only thing they care about. They don't care about if this movie was any good or not. That's, to them, that's completely out of the picture. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if this was just someone paint drying. If you made a movie about paint drying and a woman was directing it, then they would praise that movie. You would be getting articles off CBR stating how great this movie was of watching paint dry. That's the way things are in the world in 2021. And as a fan of Wonder Woman, as a fan of Batman, DC, Marvel, Star Wars, go down the list. As a fan of all of those great series, I just cringe at every movie that comes out because I'm afraid of some BS like this. It just makes me, I'm always going to be a fan of it. Unless it just, I guess, gets so dang cringy I can't even stand to watch it anymore. Wonder Woman 1984 was almost so cringy I couldn't even stand to watch it. I don't think my body could go through watching another Wonder Woman film pretty soon. So please take your time. Please take your time, Patty Jenkins, on making that movie so that I can try to digest this one. Overall, guys, that's my rant for today. Take care.